So I believe that program multiples have been deployed in U.S. military, government.
But in that camp was a man who was from the pits of hell. They called him the angel of death.
So they're literally rewriting your with foreign code that we don't know.
By design, placed. And many of them are sleepers.
If you were under 13 or over 60, you couldn't work, you went into the gas chamber. I want to talk about Auschwitz. It was actually 3 camps. It was the most horrific camp in the Holocaust. Killed between 1.1 and 1.5 million Jews. Not just Jews, but mostly Jews. It was made up of 3 camps. It was an extermination camp. It was a labor camp. It was a concentration camp. But in that camp was a man who was from the pits of hell. They called him the angel of death. His name was Joseph Mengele. His job, besides being a doctor and experimenting on people, was to be a selector. He's the one that stood out there and would select what prisoners went into the oven, what prisoners would go to the labor camp. Usually it was men, women, and children over 13, 14 years old that would go to the labor camp because they could work. But it was under 13. If you were under 13 or over 60, you couldn't work, you went into the gas chamber. He conducted multiple medical experiments on inmates. But when World War II came to an end, he escaped. And later on, I'm going to talk about how the Antichrist got many of these scientists and doctors out of Germany and spread them through the world. Many of them are right here in the United States. In Europe, in Germany, the Holocaust was a demonic movement. It was there was a cult. There was witchcraft going rampant across Germany. Hitler, I believe, was into witchcraft. I believe that this was demonic. I believe it was satanic ritual abuse. You see, it requires blood. Russ Dizdar said that they require blood. See, we stand on the blood of Jesus, but demons, the dark side, they require blood. So they needed the blood of the Jews. That's what that was. It was one giant sacrifice. Now, the question is, who were they really? And we're going to talk about program multiples. I believe they were programmed. I believe most of them were programmed. And what were they doing? They were programming others. And when these programmers went out and these programmed went out at the end of the war, they infiltrated the rest of the world. They infected the rest of the world. I want to go to the next video on Russ Dizdar, which you'll find on the Holocaust channel on davidheavener.tv. I want to go to that video talking about program multiples, how they infiltrate.
Are there program multiples in our government of the United States of America? And if so, are they being released for a time and a purpose such as this?
Sure. I believe in our, again, you were talking almost 4 decades of tracking this. By design of the satanic side, the dark side, that, underworld, by design, and actually biblical prophecy already unveiled this in advance. It already shows this in advance. But yeah, all biblical prophecy has boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And those boots on the ground are the troops of Antichrist. They're going to be here one day. It shows that in Scripture. So I believe that program multiples have been deployed in U.S. military, government, even law enforcement, by design, placed. And many of them are sleepers. They're down, and they're there for the coming future. Right now, they might be just collecting information, observing, reporting back to the people or the handlers or the ones that think they're the elite. So they're there. There's no question. We've discovered that all along the way.
Is it possible that there are program multiples out there now as we speak that in the 50s came over, and through the testing, other babies were born, and they were programmed. And now you've got doctors everywhere, scientists that are programmed for a purpose. Is that possible? Also, if you would like to get this book, a lot of what you're hearing today comes out of this book. You can, it's End Times Investigation. It's about the Holocaust, about Hollywood mind control, SRA, demon portals, and much more. You can just text the word chosen to 91999, or you can call 844-806-0006, or you can just go to davidheavener.tv/give. Order. The video we just did on Russ, I want you to, Spencer, go to davidheavener.tv. If you guys aren't members, you need to go sign up right now. Go there. I want to show you the video you just saw on Russ. I've got more videos. I opened up a channel this morning called the Coming Holocaust channel. You've got multiple videos on there. Let's go show them that channel. You've got the Holocaust survivor tried to warn us. Zev Porat talks about his family was exterminated in the Holocaust, Nazi experiments in America today. Russ talks about program multiples, which we're going to hear from Russ again, Christian persecution camp, and then the demons of the Holocaust. Okay, so that's, go right there, sign up on David Heavener TV. You can watch that. We have over 20 channels. If you scroll down there, Spencer, they'll see the channels. All you have to do is go to davidheavener.tv, sign up, folks. You get 30 days free, and I'm going to end it this week. No more 30 days free after this week, okay? Just go sign up. If you'll sign up for a year, you'll get 2 months free. So consider supporting the ministry and sign up at davidheavener.tv. We are going to go to that video on Rob Skiba. He's going to talk about where it came from and where it's going to. When we come back, I'm going to land the plane. I'm going to tell you how they got from Germany to your doorstep and how that's affected your life. Let's roll that on Rob Skiba.
So last question, if they're doing this, which I believe they are, where are they doing it? How are they doing it specifically?
Yeah, I was doing quite a bit of research on Operation Paperclip and the various Nazi scientists. Now, of course, we're most familiar with Werner von Braun and the Nazi scientists who were brought over for NASA.
Right.
But there were Nazi scientists who were brought over for lots of things.
Yeah.
And some of them were dealing with abominable genetic experimentations. You know?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of Plum Island or Montauk. You know, people think about the Montauk chair and the Montauk experiments and stuff like that, but there's a Montauk monster that washed up on shore some time ago that was some kind of strange hybrid creature that people are like, what is up with that?
Right.
And Plum Island, as I understand it, may have been one location where interesting genetic experimentation is taking place. But so you have the deep underground military base side of it, the DARPA side of it. DARPA's certainly messing around with stuff like that. But now it's just mainstream. Like mainstream scientists are, because they're looking for the cure of Alzheimer's or whatever. So it's becoming more mainstream. But whatever we're seeing in the news, you got to know they're probably a good 20 to 50 years beyond that in the secret places that we don't know about.
Plus, it's a diversion. I tell people, anything you see, the devil lets you see. It's probably either happened already, it's old news, or it's not happening at all, because what he's really doing is over here.
Or it's the tip of the iceberg.
It's what you can't see. So I think a while back, it was isolated, islands, undercover, whatever, they were doing this. Now, they're doing it under the umbrella of Big Pharma, right? And they're doing it right in front of our face.
Right in front of our face.
Yeah.
So they're literally rewriting your DNA with foreign code that we don't know.
That we don't know.
Did you hear what he said? And he's so right. This is the last interview I did in Rod Skiba. You can catch the whole thing on davidheavener.tv under the Holocaust channel. He said it's now leaked out into the mainstream. See, through the generations, now they don't care if you know it. They're doing it through Big Pharma, through these drugs, right? So it was the occult in Germany, witchcraft, Hitler took over the Germans. This is spiritual force. Satanic ritual abuse, programming people to do what they did to the Jews in Nazi Germany. And these doctors and scientists were programmed. And they escaped Germany and ended up here, where I am, where you are. Now I'm going to talk to you about how that happened. At the end of the war, they had to go somewhere. They went into hiding. But many of them escaped through Italy. How'd they do that, David? Glad you asked. Can you say Vatican? They escaped with the help of the Vatican through Italy on a thing called the Red Cross passport. Folks, this is real. It's all in the book. I researched it. I investigated. I interviewed people and multiple. Listen, let me tell you something. They nailed some of the scientists and doctors. They had to throw a few under the bus to make it look good. But most of them got away. The key men got away, including Joseph Mengele. Remember, I was telling you about him earlier. It's called Angel of Death. They shipped him out of through the Vatican, out of Italy into South America. And it's from South America, they got a new passport, a new identification, a new identity, and then they dispersed them through the rest of the world. This was in the late 40s, early 50s. And the way they did it is they sent them to government hospitals, mental institutions, medical facilities. Back in the 50s and 60s, I know I was a social worker. I worked at them in the late 70s, in the 80s. Most of these, especially the mental hospitals, which is where they did a lot of the testing, had their own graveyards. Where I worked had its own graveyards. In the graveyard was unmarked graves. I researched many of these government mental facilities across the United States had their own graveyards. And guess what else they had? Their own crematories. The hospital I worked at in Kentucky had its own tunnel. Where the tunnel went, it went to the river. Why did they say they had a tunnel all the way from the hospital to the river? They said so they could bring supplies up. Give me a break. Is it to bring stuff up or to ship stuff out? This was all over the country. So what they did is testing on people during this time, during these years. And these doctors came from South America. They were multiples, program multiples, and they performed SRA on others and birthed more program multiples. And you heard what Russ Dizdar said in one of my interviews. Tens of millions of them have been unleashed across America. This is what we're dealing with today, to the point where they don't even care if they're underground. It's now in your face, and it's through Big Pharma. All right. That's why we must remember the Holocaust, because we need to look at the past, see the history, and let us be reminded of what Jesus was talking about for the future. And the future is here and now.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll-free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll-free 844-806-0006.
With what you're playing in The Last Evangelist, I think it really paints a picture of where we're headed. I think some of the stuff that you portray in that particular series is absolutely some of the stuff we're going to see in the near future.
The brand new DVD of Last Evangelist, you can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with band videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Havens, Sheila Lazinski. Also, if you want to see Last Evangelist, the episode. It's exclusively episode 1 on davidheavener.tv.